Yes, good morning students, that we are going to be enter in this fourth unit. The remaining part which is presented in this fourth unit is the Chebyshev filter. Today we are going to be see about an a designing of Chebyshev filters. So for designing, there is several steps which is going to be follow here. So first step we are going to be follow here is we need to determine that order of the filter. So what is the formula to determine the order of the filter means n is greater than or equal to cos h inverse a divided by cos h inverse 1 by k. So this is for Chebyshev filter. If you are referring your Butterworth filter, to determine the n means n is greater than or equal to log a divided by log 1 by k. So instead of log, we are replacing as cos h inverse. Okay, that's all. So what is a? Gain. So gain of your attenuations. So the a will be lambda by epsilon. So what is that lambda formula? We know that root of 10 power 0.1 alpha s minus 1. Similarly for epsilon formula, root of 10 power 0.1 alpha p. What is alpha p? Passband attenuation, so minus 1. So we know this, and to determine the k value also, what is the formula? K equal to pass band frequency divided by stop band frequency. So these formulas we have been already discussed in that Butterworth itself. Only the notation which have been changed here, instead of log, we are replacing it as cos h inverse. Okay. Then after finding that n, what is that second step? We need to be round off to the next higher level. So this is our second step. First step is we need to find the n value. Second step, we need to round off the n value into the next higher integer. Go for the third step. Okay. So the third step is going to be an, we need to determine that a value and b value. Okay. For this, these are the a and b value which is going to be posted in that polar forms. Okay. In the, if you are going to be substituting the values in that graphical sheet, we need these two values a and b to determine the poles of your given sums. So determine the a. So what is the formula which is given here? A equal to passband frequency of mu power 1 by n, capital letter N. What is capital letter N? This is an order of that filter. Mu power 1 by n minus mu power minus 1 by n divided by 2. So this is the formula to determine an A. So similarly, we see that to determine the B values. So B equal to passband frequency, same passband frequency, open the bracket, mu power 1 by n plus mu power 1 minus 1 by n divided by 2. Okay. In A, we are putting minus, and B, we are putting plus. So only these are the changes which is presented in this A and B value to determine A and B value. Okay. So here, what is mu? So for here, the mu, to determine the mu, the formula which is represented here, that is using that your stop band attenuations here. So epsilon. So epsilon is equal epsilon power minus 1 plus root of epsilon power minus 2 plus 1. So we know the formula to determine that epsilon. What is that? Epsilon equal to root of 10 power 0.1 alpha p minus 1. So using this passband attenuation, we are determining that epsilon. Then with the help of this epsilon, we are determining the mu value. Then we are substituting the mu value in this formula to determine A and B. Okay. So these are the formulas which is going to be used for to determine A and B. That's fourth step. So the fourth step is going to be an to determine the poles of your Chebyshev filters. To determine the poles, the formula which have been shown here, S suffix k, which is equal to A into cos pi k plus J into B sin pi k. That is a real part and imaginary part which is going to be present here. Based upon these poles only, we can able to be mark the values in that graphical sheet. So the k value which is going to be vary from 1, 2, 3 up to n values. What is the n? This is the order of the filter. Up to the order of the filter, the k is going to be vary here. Okay. So then pi k. What is the formula to determine the pi k means? That is an angle of our value. Pi k which is going to be shown here is pi by 2 plus 2 into k minus 1 divided by 2 into capital letter N into pi. So this is the formula to determine the angle of that poles. Okay, by using this here also the k which is going to be vary from up to n values. So 1, 2, 3, 4,
For
5
n
up to
value,
n is going to be order of your filter by using the formula n is greater than or equal to cos h inverse a divided by cos h inverse pass band frequency divided by stop band frequency. Using that formula, we can able to be determine that n value. For example, if you are getting a n value 4 means your k value will be varying going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So how many poles you are going to be get? 4 poles that you are going to be get. For example, if you are going to be n value is 2 means your k will be vary from 1 2. That's all. How many poles you are going to be get? 2 poles that you are going to be get. Okay, so this n is going to be refer for your order of your Chebyshev filter. Order of your Chebyshev filter. The answer of your first step is going to be that uh, n value. Okay, then the next step is going to be determine that denominator value. So then after finding this poles value, we need to determine the transfer function. To determine the transfer function, we are separately we are finding the values denominator values and numerator values that we are separately finding here in this Chebyshev filter. Whereas in the Butterworth filter, we have been determined with the help of that tabular column. We are determining that denominator value. But here in this Chebyshev filter, by using that formula, we are going to be determine that denominator and numerator values. So for the step 5, we are going to be determine that denominator value. Suppose if your order of the filter is going to be odd, okay. So suppose your order of the filter is going to be odd means, for example, odd means your n is going to be 1, n is going to be 3, n is going to be 5, n is going to be 7. For that kind of Chebyshev filter, to determine the denominator, the formula is s plus real part value into s square plus real part value plus real part of 1 square plus imaginary part of 1 square. So this is that formula. What is RE? Real part. So this is here real part. In this poles, we are determining that real part and imaginary part. Okay. So real part RE means real part. Imaginary part means so plus j, some value will be that value will be substituted here. Okay. So if your n value is odd means you are going to be use this formula. Similarly, if your n value is even, that is n equal to 2, 4, 6 that you are getting means, to determine the denominator, the formula which is going to be shown here, s plus real square plus imaginary part square. So okay, so always we are taking only that a modulus value only that we are going to be substitute here. Okay. Real s plus real square plus imaginary square. So these are the two formula depending upon your n value. Whether if it is odd, you are going to use this formula. If it is even, we are going to be use this formula. Then the step 6 is we need to determine that numerator value. So to calculate the numerator, the same, if your n is going to be odd, we are going to be substitute s equal to 0 in denominator. That is, in this previous step, we will determine that denominator value. After getting the denominator value, we are going to be substitute s equal to 0 in the denominator value. So we are going to be calculate that numerator value. So that is the value of your n equal to odd. Then if n equal to even, how we can able to determine the numerator value means substitute s equal to 0 in denominator, then divide the answer by root of 1 plus epsilon square. Okay, these are the notation to determine that denominator and numerator value. Then your last step is after determining your denominator value and the numerator value, we are going to be substituted capital letter h of s is equal to a numerator value and denominator value we are going to be right. So that is the transfer function of your filter.